hope this works. I hope this is working. How we doing? You alright? About there, I think. It's not a bad backdrop, is it? It's Amadea Golf, that. That's the marina at Amadea. I don't know if you've ever been down this way. It's absolutely beautiful. Something happened here, funny enough, just a couple of days ago, where, if you can see this, it was reported in the Canarian Weekly. And he actually, you know, he got beaten pretty much to, I'm not going to say an issue of his life, but he got a bloody good hiding. And that happened in Los Abrigos, which is about 1.5 miles that way. And it brought the question to everybody's lips about how safe Tenerife is. Once again, is Tenerife safe? And when you look at something like that, you think, my God, this is just happening like literally around the corner from where we live, and this isn't really right. But when you looked into it and you found the backdrop of the story, the actual story is, it was in like a little beach area like this. The bloke was there with his family, just enjoying the beach, and the guy was actually a pickpocket trying to rob him. And he got caught by the dad. And when he got caught by the dad grabbed the parasol, the pole of the parasol, and through anger, gave the lad a bloody good hiding. Now, the truth is, to be honest with you, I don't blame him. I don't blame him. If he hadn't been caught, it had just been another statistic of a pickpocket theft that would have gone unreported, really. But because he got caught and this big hoo-ha came about, then once again the press gets hold of it and says, is Tenerife safe anymore? So what I'm going to do, I thought I'd let you decide, because I've got some stories here that I thought I'd let you decide, just give you a bit of an idea of it, okay? Because this is what I've seen from myself. When I was 19, I came to Tenerife. I'd lived in Holland for about a year, and I earned great money. And I came to Tenerife on holiday, and I brought a lot of money with me, a lot of cash, and it was black money, so I could spend the cash. And I was Johnny Big Cigars, and I went down to the Veronicas, and I went into Tramps and Soul Train, pretty much where I work now, near the Garrison and the Irish Oak. And it was like the first couple of days of my holiday, so I've only been here a couple of days. And I took the wallet with all my money, and it was in my back pocket. By the time I got home drunk, and the following morning, my wallet was gone. I'd been robbed. Who's the idiot? Who's the idiot? Whose fault's that? You see, that's what it comes down to, is whose fault is it? That then, in essence, is my fault. It's my fault. I should never have took that down there. I don't see myself as an idiot. I try to think myself, I don't think of myself as an idiot, but on that day, I was an idiot, and it was my fault that I got robbed. And obviously, it's that lesson you also have to learn, and that happens. That was, I was most probably targeted, pre-targeted, because of most probably they've seen what I had in my back pocket, and I was chosen, most probably, for the one to get pickpocketed that night. And because I had too much to drink and not responsible enough, it happened. So, here's one for you. Is there crime in Tenerife? And the answer is 100% yes, there is crime in Tenerife. But there's different sorts of crime. There's opportunistic crime. If I happen to, imagine this is my phone. Imagine I left my phone here and walked away, and 2 hours later came back. Do you think it'd be there? Very unlikely. Very unlikely it's going to be there. So that's an opportunistic crime. But there's also organised petty crime as well, where you get singled out. So if 10 lads decide to go to the Veronicas on a night out, would there be the odds that someone's going to end up losing the phone and losing the wallet? If I was a betting man, I'd say yes. But the question is, which one would be that person that would get stolen, to get your stuff stolen? To me, I wear shorts every single day of my life. The amount of times I've jumped in my car with my phone in my pocket, jumped in the car, and the phone's fallen out of my pocket and gone underneath the seat. The amount of coins that are under the seat, because I've had money in my pocket and sat in the car, and that's done it. Because shorts are not really designed to keep things in your pockets. That's the reason we have the man bag. So who's going to get robbed in the Veronicas is going to be that person who's got his phone in his back pocket, most probably. Like that. Maybe his wallet in his front pocket, and he sits down at the table, and his wallet starts hanging out a little bit like that. He sits down, falls, whatever it is. The organised petty crime are looking for those people, because those are the people that are easy to exploit. So if you're going to the Veronicas, or if your children are going to the Veronicas, just tell them, make sure they are not that person. Make sure they are not the one that's going to get singled out. Let somebody else get singled out. They're going to be there. They're going to be an idiot. I was that idiot when I was 19. So let it be somebody else and not them. Okay? Everyone's going to have a drink. They're all going to enjoy themselves. And that's the thing as well. It was funny because there's a singer, a female singer, only 2 nights ago. She was working late. She got out the car. There was an attempted mugging on her, right? Now, there's a couple of things I want to say about this. Number one, the singer put herself in that position because of the hours she works. It's not her fault, but she put herself in that position because of the hours which she works. But number two, she had enough savvy about her to realise what was going on, because she works those sort of positions, those night times. That's why she was able to fight them off, and then nothing was taken, and she could move on. But other people over here who put themselves into that nighttime position of too much to drink, they're the ones that when they get mugged, they've got no wits about them, and they're the ones going to get done. Is that going to be Bob and Betty that are out at that time in the morning till all hours of the morning? I doubt it. I doubt it. We had a thing about a year ago where I was working near Los Cristianos. The woman was in the bar, elderly couple. They both left, and they went round the corner and up the hill, and a car came past, pulled her necklace off, her gold necklace, and just drove off. The woman is frail, too much to drink, maybe a little bit tipsy. You're allowed to drink, by the way, but she put herself into a vulnerable position because she's wearing that sort of jewellery. This person who did it is most probably organised petty crime. He's looking for those sort of people. But who's to blame? Of course he's to blame, but also the person who put themselves in that position is, in the first place, by wearing that jewellery, bringing attention to themselves, isn't really helping the scenario either. What happens then is other people create big storms about it, how Tenerife is unsafe, you've got to be careful, because they know that negativity sells. This person in the car who's done that will most probably not be in that area for another few months, because he'll go off somewhere else. So it just goes around the island, and that's what happens. But it happens back in the UK. I've seen people in London on the phone, in London walking the streets, and somebody on a bike come past and snatch the phone out of their hand. So what level are we at? When I drive my car, and wherever I park my car is always empty. Even the boot is empty. Because the opportunistic people, the petty criminals, opportunistic petty criminals, they're the ones that will smash a window and grab a laptop. They're the ones that will smash a window and grab a handbag. They're the ones that will smash a window and grab cash out the front, or a phone that's in the front. Because who's putting themselves into that position? It's not as bad as in America, where I've seen in America, Mark Rober, a YouTuber in America, has told us there's a city there where you can't even leave anything in your boot, because they'll smash the side window, pull the seat down, and have a look and see what's in your boot. So much so now that in America, some people are leaving their cars parked with their boots open, because there's nothing in it. We're nowhere near that bad. I was in Puerto Colón about a year ago, and I was doing one of these vlogs. And as you can see, I take my phone case off because I don't want the phone to overheat. And I had this just in my back pocket. What I didn't realise at the same time was I also had my wallet in my back pocket. And when I finished filming, I pulled my phone out of the back pocket without realising that the wallet fell out onto the floor. I put my phone away, I carried on walking, I went to see Shelley singing, I sat down. The moment I sat down, I realised it. And went back within 20 minutes, nothing to be seen. My wallet, if you look at my wallet today, I have 15 euros in my wallet. 50, no more. Because I don't need to carry anything else around it. That day, I lost my card, I lost my driving licence, because somebody must have took the 20 euros and just slinged it into the sea. And it was more hassle trying to find that than it was actually to the loss of the money. The loss of the money wasn't of interest to me. The level of peak crime that goes on this island for people like myself and yourself is basically, we don't help the situation ourselves on the style of crime. I've seen people sat at a table like a couple, and then an actor's come on and they've turned to watch the act, all the while the phone was here behind them on the street, giving an opportunity to walk past and just take it. I've watched it. Last week alone, I saw 4 times the same table at a bar, on a high bar, with a handbag and a phone, and they'd gone off for a cigarette and just left it on there. And it just beggars belief that how that happens, but that's what happens when drink gets involved. So the petty crime Is Tenerife safe? Yes, only if you allow it yourself. You've got to look out for yourself for these things. It's very simple. Just make sure the other person's the victim and not yourself, because there is organised petty crime out there. Let's move on to the bigger one then, eh? Let's move on to drugs. Is there drugs on the island? Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Is the drugs readily available on the island? Yes, there is. My uncle died of a heroin morphine cocktail when I was 11 years of age, so I'm extremely anti-drugs. I have never ever got myself involved in it. I smoke cigarettes, and that's about as far as I got. However, there are drugs on the island. Drugs aren't just for the kids, by the way. That's one thing you need to think, because it's not just the kids that are doing it. The naive people like myself who think it's just the kids. Only last week, a woman, middle-aged woman, mother of two, with her husband, came up to me. I was on stage, I need to blow my nose. I got off stage and went and blew my nose off stage, and because it looked like I was doing a secretive act, she came over and asked me if I could supply it. And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't do it. And she was mortified. But because it's not the first time that's happened to me, it didn't actually mortify me. I just went, it's fine. It's not, because it's not my thing. But the issue that you've got is this, and this is the most important thing. This is Tenerife, right? This is the Tenerife that everybody knows and everybody loves. There is also this side of Tenerife here, okay? Now this is the Tenerife that the people who live here know about and people who live here understand. The moment you from here start learning about this Tenerife here is the moment that Tenerife gets tarnished for yourself, and it'll never be the same again. But I will tell you that's exactly the same with Newcastle, where I lived. This is Newcastle and this is Newcastle. Manchester, this is Manchester, this is Manchester. London, this is London, this is the real London. It happens everywhere. It happens everywhere. Do you agree with it? It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant whether you agree with it or not, because you're never going to be able to change it, but it happens everywhere. But the actual fact is, what you've seen in the recent past about what's gone on here on the island has more to do with that style of Tenerife than that style of Tenerife. And this style of Tenerife you'll never see anyway, and you never need to see. And that's all I need to say about it. So is Tenerife safe to come here? In my eyes, 100% yes. 100% yes. The final story I'm going to leave you on is, again, about a year ago. We had some friends over, Kerry and Karen. They came over, and I took them up the mountain to show them around. And I always remember, this is a really strange, funny thing. Halfway up the mountain, we stopped off for a viewpoint. So if I'm parking here, the viewpoint is over that side there. There is a sheer rock cliff on this side here, and there is a woman adorning herself on this rock cliff in the weirdest possible pose, as her fella is there trying to take photographs of her. As I pull up and pull to the left, there's about 5 cars in that lay-by. I'm like, what is going on there? That's a bit weird, because that's the beautiful view. So I get out of the car, I go over there, and we're having a look at the view, and I went, I'm a bit nippy, because I'm used to it a bit cold. So I know I had a hoodie in the boot. So I came back, as I turned to come back to the car, the guy's hanging off my car, literally leaning on my car, and he's taking a photograph of this woman. I'm like, what are you doing? So anyway, I open the boot, I pull my hoodie out of the boot, I shut the boot, and I turn and put my hoodie on. And as I turn and put my hoodie on, I think to myself, is he scratching my car? Because he's hanging off my car, is he scratching it? So I turn around and walk back to have a look round the side of the car. As I looked round the side of the car, what I hadn't realised was, as he was pretending to take a photograph, the moment I slammed my boot, he opened the rear car door. Because one of them had left the handbag on the back seat. He opened it. So I came round to see him with an open car door as he was about to snatch the bag. Whose fault's that? So I slammed the door, I kicked off, and I told him, I said, you're a thief, and I warned everybody else, and he really kicked off. And I'm up a mountain with, I've got 2 women, I've got one of them permanently terminally ill, so I couldn't really create a scene. But in the end, I went, just get in the car and just leave. For about 2-3 weeks, that used to play on my mind, that the fact was, I allowed myself to be duped into that happening. It was only eventually I could flick it into my head and go, hang on a minute, I never let it happen. I actually stopped that from happening. Because I was savvy enough to realise that something wasn't quite right. Wasn't quite right. If it sounds like a duck and it walks like a duck, it normally tends to be a duck. And that's what happened to me. I just thought, this isn't right. And I was lucky enough to actually have the common sense to get that. And it was not the fact the money that had gone, it's the world of issues of the cards, the licence, the passport, and that's where it comes down to. That's the only safety issues, the only things that you guys as holidaymakers need to worry about on this island. Everything else It will not affect you in the slightest. So, is Tenerife safe to come here? Is it safe to come to Tenerife? You decide. Don't have your head turned by people that are trying to tell you negative things for their own monetary benefits. We know sensationalism sells, we know negativity sells, and we know that like negativity gets clicks. At the end of the day, clicks means money. You decide. Because I tell you what, if you're scared to come here, I think you're the one that's going to be missing out. As always, guys, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed it. See you on the next one. See you soon.